Today we have such a great opportunity to celebrate the birth of Christ. He was born in a manger. All these things are already pre-planned. That he should be born in a manger, in difficult situations, to show that whether you are born poor or rich, whether you are born in difficulties or in problems, if you have divinity within you, it shines by itself. As the Christianity took a very wrong, deviated line, they have never been able to understand the significance of Christ. To them, Immaculate Conception is absolutely not possible. Most of the people think that it's some sort of a mythical story. But in India, we do believe that Gauri created Sri Ganesha out of her own vibrations, and that he became the deity of Muladhara. We accept it, but not in the West. They will never accept such a thing because their mental side is overdeveloped and dominates them. Maybe they are not so very old like the Indians to understand that above all is God. Even the concept of God is quite mental. Moreover, the way Christianity has been, it has not provided any proper guidance. On the contrary, wherever they have failed, they said it's a mystery. But it's very simple to understand for Indians that anything is possible for God. After all, He's God. He's God Almighty. Because of this mental attitude, which is much lower than the knowledge of your spirit, the ordinary mundane type of the superficial knowledge can never allow the personality to accept the greatness of God. I had a grandma. She was my father's aunt. And she used to tell us a nice story about somebody who was going to meet God. Of course, in India everybody understands all these things. They will not say how is he going to meet God, but accept. All right, he is going to meet God. So, when he was going on the way on the road, he found one gentleman sitting there, nicely singing songs, bhajans of God, doing nothing on the roadside. So, he said, oh, so you are going to meet God? Yes, I am going to meet Him. So, have you any message for him? Yes. Please tell him that I am all right, but he should arrange for my food because I think the food is now finishing. I said, really? That's what you want me to tell him? Yes, yes, please tell him. Oh, of course he'll arrange, but please tell him. So he went ahead and he met another gentleman who was standing on his head, doing all kinds of yogasanas and everything. And he asked him, please go and ask God. I have tried everything, when is he going to meet me? I would like to see him. I would like to have his darshan. He said, all right. So he went to God. And whatever work he had, he finished with it. And then God asked me, have you got anything to tell me? He said, nothing much, but I met one gentleman by coming, and he said that I'm doing all kinds of things, I have tried everything, and when will God meet me? I'm standing on my head and I'm doing also all kinds of yogasanas and all kinds of things, and also I'm going to church and mosque, I'm praying, doing all sorts of prayers, but when will God meet me? So God said, tell him he has to do a little more. See, it's not easy. When Sahaja will come, we'll see. So then he said, and there's another one who was on the road. He was just enjoying himself, singing songs. He suddenly saw me and he told me, you see, my food is now finishing. Ask God to arrange it for me. He said, really? The food is finishing. Immediately God said, what are you doing? Why don't you go and look after him? His food is finishing. No, sir, yesterday only we arranged it, all that. He said, all right, doesn't matter. So to understand, that this fellow who's trying all these things and God is still saying that he has to wait, and while this fellow is just singing songs of God and all that, and why is it so much impressed by this another fellow who is doing nothing to seek God? So then God realized that he is in some sort of an illusion. So he told him, all right, you go and tell them one thing, both of them the same thing, that when I went to God, what I saw there was that he made a camel pass through the eye of an eagle. So he said, really I should tell them? Yes, you just tell them and see the reaction. So he went down, so this is the first one met him, he said, what God has said? He said that God has said, wait till Sahaja comes in, then I'll meet you. Before that you go around like this. Oh God, when will this Sahaja come? And he said so, but he'll meet me sometime. Oh, I hope Sahaja also comes sometime. And he was quite disappointed. So he went, and we asked him that, what did you see with there when you went to see God? He said, I saw that, he passed a camel through the eye of an eagle. He said, what? How is it possible? It's impossible. Now mentally, how is it possible that a camel has passed through the eye? It's not possible to see the volume of this one and such a little thing. How can it pass? No. You are just telling me a story because you've been to God, you're trying to show off, that's all. I don't believe in all this nonsense. You're just telling me lies and don't try to befool me. So he went to another person who was on the street eating nicely. He said, how are you? I know he had arranged before you reached there. I know it was all right after all. See, he looks after me all the time. So what did you see when you went there? He said, I saw that God Almighty passed a camel through an eye of an eagle. It's very amazing thing. He said, what amazing? He's God. Do you know He's God? Do you know He's God? God can do anything. He can do anything. That's made him understand. That if you understand that God is all powerful, it doesn't mean that He can move Himalayas to Maharashtra. It doesn't mean that. But it means He's all powerful. Means He can do subtlest and subtlest things, and such things which our brain, this mental side, cannot understand. It's beyond the conception of a human mind. This is what God is. He is the one who has created human beings. He has to be beyond us if he's creating. If a potter creates a pot, that means he is beyond the pot. Pot cannot create God, the potter. And the potter has created the pot. So that means that this pot, which is created by him, has to be something which is made by him. So he has to be much more powerful than the pot is. But it is unbelievable, or say beyond the conception of human beings, that what a God it must be who has made this great computer. We take everything for granted. We cannot even make a particle of clay ourselves. We cannot make anything, human beings cannot make. If there is some stone, all right, you can put this up. If there is some clay, you can make some sort of a house out of it. But it's all dead from the dead. But can you make a candle which will burn badhas? You have seen it with your own eyes, that before my photograph, the badhas burn. Can you do that? Now we have now also the idea of the complete, intricate, working, delicate machinery, and also very dynamic, explosive machinery. How it works to create human beings, to create all this universe, to create all these beautiful flowers and trees and everything. Look at the stars, look at how many they are. Out of that he has chosen this Mother Earth to create human beings. How he has made it? When he wants to send his own son, he can send it the way he wants to send it. Even to challenge this shows the mental mind which is absolutely in mud. So to accept it is only possible when you have saints, real saints, who tell you that this is how Sri Ganesha was born, out of God. But to jump into it, into faith, when you come to Sahaja, you start seeing miracles taking place. Then you can understand that these miracles are taking place. And if there is another miracle that has to take place, it will take place in any case. We are not doing anything. It's all done. And we don't doubt it. Once you doubt, you become again the same human being which is just embedded in the mud.